Our San Francisco Giants have made it to the NLCS. Today we've got Game 1 in Atlanta against the Braves. We're coming off a 3-game sweep in the NLDS against the Reds. In the last episode, we won Games 2 and 3. In Game 2, the story was Sandy Alcantara, who had a no-hitter last nearly 7 innings before allowing a couple, getting yanked. But the pitching was maybe even better in Game 3. Logan Webb, 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. The starting pitching was the story against Cincinnati because these guys were unbelievable. In the first 6 innings of Games 1, 2, and 3, the Reds scored 0 runs. Kyle Harrison and Sandy Alcantara let up a little bit in the 7th, which is why we took Logan Webb out after 6. But the starting pitching between them was so good. The bullpen did what they needed to. And the offense was fine in Games 2 and 3. We scored 8 runs with a combined 20 hits, which is pretty mediocre. But if you combine Game 1, where we absolutely crushed the ball, it's hard to really complain about the offense. And I feel like we're in a good spot going into this series against Atlanta because we've been clicking on all cylinders over the last month or so. The offense overall has been producing. You need a hot pitching rotation in October, and boy, they are hot. Now, the Braves are the only team who finished with a better record than us. They swept San Diego in the NLDS, including a 15-inning Game 1. Some guys had as many as 8 at-bats. They asked a lot out of the bullpen, but they were ultimately able to deliver. Game 2, another close one. They took this one 3-2 with a great start from Spencer Strider. And then Game 3, they knocked the doors off 6-0, out hitting the Padres 15-3 with a complete game shutout by Michael King, bringing us to the 7-game set here. Now, I will say a big difference between these two teams is injuries. We're healthy and they're not. The big story has been Ozzie Albies, who's been out for most of the summer, but it's not just him. Zach McKinstry, who always plays really well against us, he's out. Matt Olson, their big slugging first baseman, he's out. Now, of course, when we played against them last year in the NLCS, they did not have Michael Harris, so that's a big get. And they also did not have O'Neal Cruz, who they traded for at the deadline, who is the replacement for Ozzie Albies and has been terrific so far in Atlanta in the regular season and postseason. So we are going to make a quick switch to the playoff roster. I'm going to bring up Yariel Rodriguez, and I think I'm going to send down Gabe Spire. The thought process here is we don't need 3 lefties in the bullpen. The Reds are a very lefty-driven lineup, whereas the Braves are a very righty-driven lineup. They only have a couple lefties in there, and most of them are better against left-handed pitching anyway. So we don't really need all these lefties, and I think having Yariel Rodriguez, who's an innings eater, will be quite useful in case we have a potential blowout, good or bad. It's just nice to have somebody who can go 3-4 innings at a time. Obviously, Fernando Molina can do that, but Rodriguez can do that as well. And in the month that Yariel Rodriguez was up in the majors, he played pretty well this year after a disappointing campaign last year. So let's get this show on the road. A rematch of last year's NLCS. The Braves won in a competitive 6-game series last year, which ultimately led them to winning the World Series in 7 over the Texas Rangers. And we are out for revenge. We've got a decision to make in terms of pitching. Both of these teams have not played in a good 5 days and only 1 game over the last 7 days. That's longer than the regular bye from the wild card round to the division series. So both of these teams are super well rested as we look at both lineups. And we take a look at Dylan Cease. The Braves are going to go back to the top of their rotation. Cease pitched in Game 1 against San Diego. Wasn't all that impressive. 6 innings pitched. He let up 5. And ultimately, that was the game that was 15 innings that the Braves hung on. So with 2 away, it's Munetaka Murakami. He flies this one high and somewhat deep in left center. Michael Harris appears to be under it, and the Braves will retire the side. A quick start for Cease as we go bottom 1. And the question is, who are the Giants going to throw on the mound? We decided to take the same strategy as Atlanta and go with the guy who we think is our best pitcher right now. And to me, based on how he's been playing over the last couple of months, I think it's Sandy Alcantara, who ever since the trade deadline when we acquired him has been really good. In his first playoff start with us against the Reds, 6 2/3 no-hit innings before allowing the home run to Christian Encarnacion Strand and another hit afterwards. But he was ridiculous in that game. Right now, I think he's the best pitcher on this staff. Harris with a play to third. The throw is offline for Munetaka Murakami. And there will be no no-hitter today for Sandy Alcantara. It went nearly 7 innings in his first postseason start. Today it lasts a whole 1 at bat. As that'll bring up Christian Arroyo. And he hits this one well into center. Rogers looks to get to it quickly. He cannot make the play. Bounces off the wall. Will the Braves send the runner home? They will. The throw from Donovan is just barely not in time. A quick run for the Braves. An RBI double for Arroyo. Brings home Harris from first. And it's 1-0 Atlanta. That'll bring up Ronald Acuna. Ooh, good take. Looked like it scraped the strike zone. But Alcantara does not get the call. And sure enough, Acuna walks on the very next pitch. A rocky start for Sandy Alcantara. He's led up the first 3 runners in this game. One has already scored. The other 2 are on first and second. Now in the corners for O'Neal Cruz, who's behind 1-2. And this one is flown into left. Should be enough room to drive in Arroyo from third as it's caught by Hackman. And he's going to send it to the cutoff man. There will not even be a play at home as the runner is obviously safe. And it's a 2-0 lead for the Atlanta Braves. A picture-perfect start, setting the tone early. And we'll see if they can add some more with the catcher, Sean Murphy, who lines it to center. Rogers barely has to move as he'll make the play. But not a great start for Sandy Alcantara, looking anything like his first postseason start against his former team, Cincinnati. Lets up 2 runs, a walk, and 2 hits as the Braves leave one stranded, but they lead this one 2-0, and we go into the top of the second. Stone Garrett draws a walk. He was definitely one of our best offensive players in the NLDS against the Reds. Blake Sabol was as well. In the 2 games he played in, he went deep 3 times. The 2-2, this one is hit a mile into the air. Deep into right field. Acuna at the track, at the wall. It is gone! And this game is quickly tied at 2. The postseason power surge for Blake Sabol continues. Already his 4th home run here in October. He went deep in Game 1 of the NLDS against the Reds. Did not play in Game 2. Then went deep twice in Game 3, and he's picking up right where he left off. First at bat at the NLCS. Takes Cease deep, and we're knotted up at 2 apiece as the hits are going to keep on coming. Johnny Hackman, the rookie out of the University of Michigan, singles into center field, and the Giants have a runner aboard with 1 away. J.P. Crawford, another guy who was unbelievable against Cincinnati, looks to pick up where he left off. He singles into center after hitting .545 in this series against the Reds, homering twice. And now there's runners on first and second. 2 away, back to the top of the order. Jung-Hoo Lee checks his swing on the knuckle curve. One of the few guys who hasn't been good so far in the postseason, but a successful inning for the Giants. They leave 2, but they score 2 with the homer by Blake Sabol, as that'll bring us to the bottom half of the frame. Jared Kelenic leads things off, and he will put Atlanta right back ahead. This one is gone into left center, and it is a 3-2 ball game for the Braves. Kelenic sends that one 440 feet, a long one, into left center, and the struggles for Sandy Alcantara continue. He's got to get some confidence going as he gets Logan Davidson to go down looking on the slider. Back to the top of the order, 2 away for Money Mike. Michael Harris pops this one up near the pitcher's mound. Stone Garrett is under it, getting the start at first base today. And he will make the play. So a busy second inning for both offenses. The Braves lead 3-2 with the homer by Kelenic. Both teams really hitting the ball well early against these 2 teams' supposed aces. As Murakami singles into right field. Another hit for the Giants. Certainly not Dylan Cease's best stuff. And there's another runner aboard here. When it rains, it pours, just like the weather here in this game. Full count for Stone Garrett. Walked his last time up. He was hoping to draw another one, but does not get the call. Goes down looking on the inside fastball. Blake Sabol homered his last time up. Count is full here with 2 away. Runner goes, and he draws a walk. A close call. Fastball a little bit above the strike zone, and Sabol will take his base. 2 on now for Brendan Donovan, and that was not your pitch, buddy. Check swings on the low and inside knuckle curve. Cease fools him and gets out of the inning. So the Giants leave 2 again, and Atlanta holds on to their lead as that brings us to the bottom of the third. Christian Arroyo is up. He will bloop this one into right, and that goes for a hit, his second of the ball game. And so Atlanta starts the inning with an early base runner. Sandy's got to get into a groove. It hasn't happened yet, and if it doesn't happen soon, he might have to come out of the game as he fools Acuna on the slider. That pitch was never going to be a strike. I don't know what he was thinking. After that, the umpires are going to speak with our manager. This game is going into a 30-minute rain delay, and we're going to make the bold decision to make a pitching change as a result. Mason Miller will come out of the bullpen, his first postseason outing of the year. We used Miller last year as a reliever in the NLCS against Atlanta, and he played quite well. We made the decision to take Sandy out because he already hasn't looked good to begin with, and now with the weather throwing him off, that's just more of the reason to pull the plug now. Since he didn't go through a full start today, I think his arm is going to be a day or two ahead of schedule, which could be quite useful. Austin Riley goes down looking, 1-2 now for O'Neal Cruz, and Miller gets him to swing out of his shoes looking like a fool. Quick work from Mason Miller, strikes out a pair, and San Francisco's hoping they can get multiple innings out of him. That'll bring us into the fourth. Johnny Hackman leads things off for the Giants, got a base hit in his first at-bat, and he sends this one over to first. I don't know why they send it to Cease. This is going to be a close play, and he's out. Hackman nearly beats Cease to the base, but he is unable to. Nearly an infield single, but instead it goes for out number one. Full count here for J.P. Crawford. Also got to hit his first time up, and he draws a walk. I know he wanted to swing at that pitch. A circle change coming in slow, but he makes the right decision. He's going to take his base. That'll bring up Tommy Rogers, the 2-2 on its way, and he goes down looking. That pitch below his knees. I thought the rule was if it's below the knees, don't swing. Isn't that what they taught you in Little League? Rogers does not get the call. Full count now for Jung-Hoo Lee. Lines it into right, but Acuna will make the play. And after a rocky start for Dylan Cease, I'll give him credit. He has looked a lot better over the last couple of innings. He's let up a hit and a walk, but nothing really more. It remains 3-2, as that will bring us into the bottom half of the fourth. Mason Miller still in. We're hoping to get 2 or 3 innings out of him tonight if possible. But again, as we saw with Sandy, we'll make an impulse decision if needed. Sean Murphy goes down on the slider. Another quick strikeout for Miller. He's looking for one more here in the fourth against Logan Davidson. And he won't get it as it's a sharp grounder to third. Murakami makes the play. And Mason Miller retires the first 5 batters he faces. The Braves certainly were not prepared to see Miller tonight. And it shows. 3-2 as we move into the fifth. And Atlanta will make a pitching change. This feels like odd timing. I feel like Dylan Cease finally was starting to pitch well. But they will go to John Means, who started for them in Game 7 of the World Series last year. They used him in a relief role in the 15-inning Game 1 against the Padres of the NLDS as he gets Ian Happ to go down looking. Doesn't seem like he likes the call. 2-2 now for Munetaka Murakami. Base hit his last time up, and he goes down looking as well. The Giants are looking to get ahead of these counts and draw walks, but these close pitchers are being called strikes. 2-2 for Garrett. He thought about that one. With this umpire having a bigger strike zone, he really thought about swinging there, but ultimately lays off. That proves to be a good decision. 3-2 now, and he will take the walk, his second of the game. So Garrett is back on base. 2 away for Blake Sabol. Got to watch out for the lefty on lefty. Garrett goes for second. Sabol flies this one into left. Doesn't have much carry, and that one will be caught. A scoreless inning for John Means. It remains 3-2. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth. Mason Miller, unsurprisingly, will remain in the game, given how well he has performed so far. But he has to see the top of the order. That starts with Michael Harris. Count is even at 1-1. And Harris belts this one into the opposite field. That is a fair ball and will bounce over the wall for a ground rule double into foul territory. So Harris, one of the faster players on this team, is now in scoring position. That'll bring up Christian Arroyo, and he hits this one up the middle for a base hit. Harris will look to score. Rogers with the throw. It is well short, and that'll make it 4-2. I feel like whichever goofball that the Braves throw into the 2 slot usually is not some big name, but they always play well against us. Usually it's Zach McKinstry. With him hurt, Christian Arroyo is taken right over. He's 3 for 3. Ronald Acuna draws a walk, and now Mason Miller starting to get sloppy after looking really good early. 2 on, 1 away. Austin Riley 2-2. Checks his swing. Umpire says he went around for strike 3 on the inside fastball. Clearly frustrated with himself, and that'll bring up O'Neal Cruz. Count is full. Both runners will go. And this one is popped into foul territory. Will it stay in the field of play? It looks like it. And Stone Garrett will make the play. Braves add another run, though. They lead 4-2 with an RBI single from Christian Arroyo. He's been busy tonight. 3 for 3. He's driven in a pair. And that'll bring us into the 6th. Brendan Donovan goes down looking. Another strikeout looking. The Giants are usually a very aggressive team. but these close pitches are being called strikes. Hackman will draw a walk here. He reaches base for a second time today. That'll bring up J.P. Crawford. He belts it to short. O'Neill Cruz deflects it. Throw to second is in time. You'd think he would have gone to first there. I guess Hackman was slow to getting to second base. A potential big opportunity. Could have had 2 runners on. But now that's not the case. Rogers swings at a pitch in the dirt. And Means is able to get out of the inning, striking out 4. Ks are not the name of his game, but he has been dicing them over the last 2 innings. Bullpen change for the Giants. It's John Schreiber who comes into the game. So far, 2 scoreless innings in the postseason against Cincinnati. He will start things off against Logan Davidson, looking to retire at the side. Got him looking on the fastball. It remains 4-2, and that'll bring us into the 7th. Our offense is struggling right now. We looked really good early, but we have not gotten a base hit since the 3rd inning. Will Ian Happ change the trend? He's had a quiet postseason, but he hits this one high and deep into center. Harris at the track. He will make the play. Off the bat, I'll be honest, I thought that one was gone. And Ian Happ certainly seems to agree, but it died at the warning track for the second out of the frame. Here is Munetaka Murakami up the middle into center. That one is caught. The Giants hit the ball kind of well this inning. They've had some good swings over the last few, but that's 4 consecutive hitless innings for San Francisco. Only 4 hits through 7 innings today. And that'll bring us to the bottom half with Aniel De Los Santos coming into the game. So far, an ERA of 0 in the postseason for one of the best relievers in baseball this year. He'll start with the 9-hole hitter, Tyler Stevenson into right. That one goes for a base hit. And that's the strength of De Los Santos' game. 99 hits per 9, led up barely 50 hits this year in around 80 innings of work. But he starts letting up 1 batter, and Harris makes it 2. He singles into right, so the Braves open the inning with 2 early base hits, and that'll bring up our kryptonite, Christian Arroyo. He's 3 for 3 today. 2-2. Got him looking on the circle change for out number 1. But now we've got to face off against Ronald Acuna, the most dangerous player on this roster. He goes down looking on the slider. The Braves are taking a page out of our book by not swinging the bat. Austin Riley does, but he probably shouldn't have. A slider well outside the strike zone, and De Los Santos, who lets up the first 2 runners, gets out of the jam, striking out 3. And that'll bring us into the 8th. Evan Phillips is going to come into the game. He is their regular closer, but they're using him as the setup man in the postseason. Interesting strategy to change it up as Stone Garrett hits this one into right for a single. Our first base hit since the 3rd inning. And fittingly, it's one that goes off the bat for 70 miles per hour. Barely had any exit velo, but hey, a base hit's a base hit. We will not complain. Blake Sabol, the only source of runs today with his homer. He thought that one was a homer, but takes a big swing and a miss on the sweeping curve. Great pitch by Phillips. That'll bring up Brendan Donovan. He is behind 1-2. And he swings at a pitch in the dirt. It has been a rough day for Brendan Donovan. He has struck out 3 times, swinging at some bad pitches. For a guy who has great plate skills, this is very unlike him. Kyler Rodriguez off the bench. He's been great as a pinch hitter this year, but he pops up to short. O'Neill Cruz makes the play. It remains 4-2. We're going to have one more chance in the top of the 9th, but first, we've got to get through the bottom of the 8th and not let Atlanta add to this lead. We're going to bring in the lefty, Jojo Romero, his first outing of the postseason. It's a little bit surprising that the Reds had all those lefties and we didn't use Romero once. O'Neill Cruz, did he go around? Yes, he did on the slider. We have not swung on strikes. The Braves are consistently swinging at balls. It's been 2 very different strategies from these 2 teams at the plate, and neither of them are really working. This time, they go down looking. Kelenic watches the fastball go by, and that'll bring us into the 9th. The closer, Penn Murphy, is in for the save. Murphy, if you remember, was their closer last year. He won reliever of the year, and he dominated against us in the NLCS, but he wasn't as good this year. He was demoted. He has an ERA of 9 so far in the postseason. 8-9-1 hitters due up for San Francisco. That starts with J.P. Crawford. Flies it into center. It's got some carry, but it's caught by Harris. If you remember the last time we were down by 2 in this building earlier this season, that was the game we scored 9 runs in the 9th inning. Can we do that again? As Orlando Arcia, the former Brave and pinch hitter, flies out to center. We're down to our final out and our final strike. It's Jung-Hoo Lee who rips this one into right. That is a fair ball, and it'll roll to the corner off the wall. Lee will waltz into second for a double. Obviously, his postseason hasn't been great, and today he was 0 for 4 before that swing, but a big double for Jung-Hoo Lee, keeping the game alive for the tying run. Ian Happ, who looks at the fastball for strike 2, and again, the Giants are down to their final strike. Everybody here at Truist Park on their feet. Tying run is up. 2-run game. The 2-2 for Murphy. And Happ launches it into right! Flips the bat. We got to make sure it's fair. And it is! A 2-run homer for Ian Happ. And this game is tied. Ian Happ in the top of the 9th inning, down by 2, down to the final strike, will knot this one up at 4. He gets that one over the fence for his first home run of the postseason, and it could not have come at a better time. This is what October was made for. Ian Happ, another guy who's been so good this year, but has struggled in the playoffs. Our 2 best offensive players have struggled here in October, but they come up big when we need them. Lee with the double, Happ with the homer, and this game is tied at 4. That one was barely fair as well. We're lucky it got out. Murakami now gets a pitch he likes. Hits a rocket, 110 off the bat. But it looks like he swung a little bit too early. 2-2 now from Penn Murphy, looking to get out of the inning alive. And this one is popped up into the shallow infield. First baseman is under it, waves everybody off, and he will make the play. But the Giants keep it alive down to their final strike twice, with a double from Lee and a homer by Ian Happ. Tied at 4 going into the bottom of the 9th. Our bullpen is depleting. We've used pretty much everybody, and we've got some decisions to make. Do we bring in Camilo Duvall even though it's not a save situation? Well, Duvall is loose, but we're going to start with Dylan Tate, who has not pitched yet in the postseason, had a pretty good regular season. We like him most with runners on base. We're hoping he won't let up any runners on base here, as the Braves start with the 9-1-2 hitters. Tyler Stevenson, 1 for 3 today. He sends it into left. That one will go over the glove of Garrett. Bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. And already, the Braves got a runner in scoring position. And with 1 out, they have a real shot to win this game. Base hit probably ends it. The outfielders are going to come in. Michael Harris weakly puts it on the ground. Tate chases after it. Throw to first. Is not in time. He's safe. The other runner is at third, and so now there's runners at the corners, and we're going to bring in Camilo Duvall. No more messing around. We're going to have our best reliever try to keep this game alive. If this ball is hit well in play, this game could be over. And it's Christian Arroyo who has 3 hits today. Why not 4? Into left field. This ball will drop, and this game is over. Atlanta walks it off with, fittingly, Christian Arroyo, who gets his 4th hit of the game and certainly his most impactful. A 5-4 win here in Game 1 for the Braves in a thrilling start to the NLCS. Even though we lost, this game was pretty awesome. 7 hits, 5 walks. We took a very disciplined approach at the plate. It really didn't work, even though we drew a lot of walks. We also had a lot of strikeouts looking. Sandy Alcantara struggled, obviously was taken out prematurely, wasn't really his fault. I thought the bullpen did pretty well though, but obviously at the end there not so much. As we look at Atlanta, their hits were very staggered. Tyler Stevenson 2 for 4, Michael Harris 4 for 5, Christian Arroyo 4 for 5, drove in 3. The problem is those guys all hit right next to each other, so they were able to get hits off of each other and score runs, as we saw in the bottom of the 9th. Stevenson with the hit, Harris with the hit, Arroyo with the finisher. The Braves' pitching was pretty good. Their bullpen in particular was really good. 3 no-hit innings from John Means. Phillips was good. Murphy, not so much. But nonetheless, Atlanta wins Game 1. And now we've got to right the ship in Games 2 and 3. We certainly do not want to fall behind big, or else we'll be in danger of losing to the Braves in the NLCS for a 2nd year in a row. Next episode will be Game 2 in Atlanta and Game 3 back at home in San Francisco. I am completely undecided on who we're going to pitch. We're going to be a game-time decision, and we're going to have to be strategic here, especially being down in the series 1-0. We're going to have to be very aggressive with how we manage our pitching. That'll wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.